So I've worked on a few of these gearboxes before. Not the this in particular mechanism a bunch. I have worked on this mechanism once on a head-dropping witch, but this particular gearbox I have worked on a few times. It's a very common one that was used back in 2012, and really all you have to do is just take off, first of all, the two springs, and then there is a screw or two that holds these two pieces together, and then from there you can slide it off the shaft, get you the gearbox. I believe it's a 10 tooth, and from there you just gotta put it back together. A few screws later and I was able to separate these. It's a pretty simple mechanism. This one you don't gotta touch, this one can stay together. It's just the one that's on the square shafts that need to be messed with. So I need to take off, I already started taking off the screws. I need to take off one right here, and then I can unscrew the side right here. So I just remove this little piece right here. It's pretty simple. You just take a flathead and you pop it off of this shaft right here. I've heard of these things breaking before, but I wasn't really worried to take it off because I have a few replacements of these from something, I don't remember what, but I do have a few replacements of these ones, fortunately, in case it ever breaks, but they both seem to be in pretty good shape. They're all white. So now all the screws are taken out of here, so we can pop this open and find the problematic gear, which is the one on the motor shaft. So you guys can see the crack in the gear right there. The black is where the crack is. This mechanism actually has a spring gear in it right here, which this will push out of place if the mechanism can't move, so it just like clicks. The horror characters have that type of gear, for like the arm mech. So it's interesting to see it here, but I guess it would need it in case you do have something that gets in the way, or the cloth gets snagged on something so the head can't come down. So I like those gears, I think they're cool. This gear, however, is not cool, it needs to come out. It looks like a 10 tooth. And it's just starting to split, so I have to take a flathead to take it off. I can't just like, pull it off with my fingers, but I can just take a flathead and it'll come off super easily. And this one's a very big gear too. It's like a head gear. Actually, it's a little bit bigger than that. It's a pretty big gear. So I've gotten the new gear on. Pretty difficult gear to get on. It's no wonder why these things split so fast. So we're gonna be putting just some grease on it. This is the kind that Gemmy uses. So we'll just be putting a little bit of that on the new gear, just to make it as quiet as possible and hopefully run smoothly. Okay, so that's about all you have to do with this thing. I'm going to put it back together now. It should work totally fine. I will, put the lid back on and the rubber belt, and then see if everything's making contact and moving as it's supposed to. There's no reason why it shouldn't be, but always good to test it.
We have been waiting for you.
Very similar.
Yes, come closer. Come right up this way.
You can see how the mechanism works right here. You see it goes down like that. I'm not going to force it down. I think you can after I put the springs on. I was able to do that with the witch. But for this one I'm not going to bother with that. But you can see how it works like that. And then the two halves get sandwiched together. And that's about it with this mechanism. It's pretty simple. It's just kind of like a pain to take apart every single part of this.
Yes, come closer. Come right up this way.
Hey guys, it's Chase here on Gemmy Master Animatronics, and today what I have for you is the Gemmy 5.5 foot tall life-size animated head dropping Reaper. This is an item that I have been looking for a very long time, and I finally got one a few days ago. I got this item off of, not really off of Mercari. I saw this one on Mercari, and the shipping was outrageous. Not because of the seller, but just because Mercari shipping is just, really screwed up sometimes. So I actually found the seller of it on Facebook through a mutual friend, and I contacted him and um, asked him, hey, would you be willing to sell this outside of Mercari? The shipping is kind of messed up on it, and I'd love to purchase this off of you. Blah blah blah. We begin to talk and everything, and we actually agreed on a lower price for this because he's had it on Mercari for quite some time, and it was originally on there a few months ago, and then it got taken down for some reason, and then it got put back up. I think the reason it got taken down was because the head had a split gear in it. I don't think it initially did, and then he relisted it saying the head had a split gear. The head still moved on it, just, was very noisy and was on its way to basically not doing anything anymore. So we ended up making a deal. I think the initial shipping price was like $60, but I got it down to $19, I'm pretty sure, which is very cheap for these things. But it's not a big box, and he didn't live too far away. I mean, it was just, the shipping was just outrageous on it. So I'm glad I was able to get that down. Glad that we were able to make a deal on it. So big shout out to him. I will leave a link to his Mercari in the description. He's on a lot of stuff. He's got some great stuff in really good shape. This was one of them. This one is in fantastic shape. It is basically brand new. He bought this one brand new a few years ago and used it a few times indoors, and that was it. He never used it outside. It was never, in the elements or anything like that. This was used strictly indoors, and then it was put back in the box, which is awesome. I mean, I'm always looking for items like that. I hate ones that are, that have been used outdoors, that are like really faded and everything. So I really did luck out with this one, especially since I've been looking for this one for so many years now. I've been looking for this one because this one was actually a nostalgic one to me, because I saw this one in Lowe's back in the day. I don't know if I mentioned it. This one was sold at Lowe's. I saw this one and the head dropping witch back in the day. I do not remember if they were sold together in stores. I know that the Reaper here was sold with the Cauldron Witch that was at Lowe's, not the one that stirs the pot, but the one that's holding it. And I've had that one, and then the Reaper was the last one that I was trying to get. I ended up selling the Witch, but this is the big one that I was really trying to get, because I just remember seeing this one in stores, all the time back in 2012. I would always, go into the store and see it. It was just the coolest thing to me. I mean, it looks super big back in the day. It just, overall, even to this day, I still think is a very cool item. Now, Gemmy did 2 head-dropping characters as far as production. I don't mean like prototypes or anything like that. I don't need like people in the comments like, oh, they made this and made that. I know that they were at least 2 different samples of the one that I have in front of you that have surfaced. But this is the production model. There were a few samples of the head-dropping witch, and then a few samples of the Reaper, and they all kind of look a little bit different. They all have like some sort of uniqueness about them, so that's really cool. I haven't seen any samples pop up or anything that actually has like the cloth that covers the face, or has the creepy cloth that is sewn on, like the red and everything like that. The ones that have popped up seem to have just been the regular plastic skull face, nothing covering it. It wasn't clear like this. And a few had different phrases, so just a lot of different samples have popped up, but not any samples that have looked like the production model. So like I said, they made a few different prototypes, but production they only did this one and a witch. And I've had the witch, and now I've had this one. The witch was basically brand new, and this one's also basically brand new. So I've kind of lucked out with these ones. I've had pretty good luck with them. But however, I did have to replace the gear in this guy, and his head dropping, and in the witch. These guys are notorious for having bad gears in them. Not really in the mouth, but in the head dropping mechanism. And it's that same mechanism that's used on the Rising characters and on Ghost Girl. It's a horrible mechanism. You can ask some people, and they'll say, well, Ghost Girls, those things were splitting after a year. You can get these things brand new in the box and they won't work. It's just ridiculous how bad the mechanism is. When it actually works, it does a very good job. It's not very noisy at all. It's strong, it does what it's supposed to, but I don't know what it is, whether the shaft of the gear goes on is just super thick, so it's always, putting too much pressure on the gear, or the way that the gear ratio is, it's putting a lot of strain on it. So I don't know. I really do not know. But I will have to fix this again probably in a year. I do intend to keep this character, and I probably will have to fix it within a year. I mean, I when I fixed my witch, I didn't even have it for a year, and I sold it on Marketplace, and I went to go test it, and the head dropping did not work. The gear split again, and I was like, okay, I will give this to you for like $50, because I don't really feel like fixing it, and the people on Marketplace still picked it up. But anyways, all that being said, he's got about 3 to 4 different phrases. He's got 2 animations. He's the most animated head dropping character that they did. He's got a glowing head which fades in and out. His entire face is clear, but the back of the head is a regular type plastic. It's not clear. He has the capability of holding candy. He's got just a really cool animation. Not really too complex of a mech, but it is really interesting how the head attaches onto the mechanism, and I will try to show that. But yeah, with all that being said, I will I will get an up-close look at him for you guys and just show what all there is to show about him. Alright guys, so here he is up close. There's not too much to go over, but I will try to show, anything that might be odd on this character that you might not see in, other life sizes. So, because there are, a few examples of that, but I will try to show what I can. So, starting with the head, you can see that it's pretty see-through. This is exactly how I like it. I remember seeing it in Lowe's like this. When I first got this one, it had fabric that was in front of it like this, so it wasn't as see-through. You can still see through it, but it wasn't as see-through. But it's supposed to be displayed with the second layer on the back, so it covers, this black fabric here. So it's actually supposed to be back like this. So if you have it in the front, you're doing it wrong. That's not how it's supposed to be done. So it's supposed to be in the back like this. So you can also see right here where the costume goes together, and it's not covering the red creepy cloth in the front. So this is exactly how it's supposed to be. I mean, you can argue that it looks better with it in the front, be that as it may be. This is exactly how it's supposed to be done. It's done like that on the box. On the the stock images like that, this is how it's supposed to be done. So you can take off the head on this. I do want to try to show how the mechanism works on this. I'll kind of pull up the fabric, so you can see it's got 2 different pieces on here, which when it goes down, they actually go towards the back like this. So it's a very common mechanism, not for Gemmy items, but just in general. It's a very common mech that you can find, even on other Halloween characters. Like I know that Pan Asian Creations, I think we're doing some characters like that. There's a really bad item that's coming out this year. It's like a pumpkin that goes up and down, and I'm sure it has a very similar mech. It's not a good item like this, but it's a very similar mechanism, I'm sure. Unlike the witch, this has 2 different features going on in the head. You got the glowing LED, and then you got the mouth movement. So it does have 2 connector pieces on here. You can see there's 2 right there, and it just connects up like that. So it's very different than what you'd expect, but it just kind of slides on, and it clicks on like any other character, and it'll stay on. So that's about it for the head, and you can see the big gearbox right there, and there's 2 springs that help it go back up. It does need them. I mean, I'm sure it could probably do fine if it didn't have them. It just would struggle a little bit, but it does help it. I'll try to adjust the fabric back to where it was. There we go. Come on. There we go. Okay. You definitely don't want to have it all the way on the shoulders because then it kind of separates the piece right here, and then you can see the mechanism, which, you know, I don't really care if it's like that, but that's not really how it's supposed to be displayed. You want it kind of bunched up so you can't see it, but it has to have the slit right here so the head can actually drop down. On the costume itself, you can see it's got red creepy cloth right here. Some are more red than others. This one was brand new, so it really can't be faded, and there's no piece on this that's like more red than the other. So I don't see it being faded. The black is not faded at all. You know, even like these little strands that you find, they're not red like you'd see on the box. So it really, you know, is just evidence that there were some, I guess, that came like this, or, you know, I don't know. But like I said, this thing was brand new. It was only used indoors. There's just no way it could have gotten faded. And only attacking the red and not the black. I mean, this black is black. You know, it looks like it just came out of the box. So I don't get it, but I guess there are just some that are different. And you can see he holds the tray. He's got pretty big hands. And the last one I saw on Mercari or eBay or whatever, it had like a snapped finger, which I don't understand how that happens because these are pretty thick. These are vinyl. Very thick hands. And then underneath, of course, he's got the hand here too. He has all the fingers there too. And this is like very snug on there. Like you can't move this, which I love. I love it when the trays are on there very snugly because if you were going up to reach for candy, you don't want it tipping over or anything. Like this thing will not like tip over. Like this is on there very nicely, and it's pretty straight too. There are some characters where like the molding is bad on it, so it'll go off to the side or like this side or be more up or something. This one is basically perfect, which is awesome. It still has the sticker, you know, wipe before putting candy in. And then on the base, it's got, of course, the regular base where you have the wire that runs through the top. It plugs in. And the back here, it takes a 9-volt. And it does have the original adapter. This is it right here. It's a very small adapter. But it's 9-volt, 1.5 amps. You know, it's very small, but it does work. I'm always glad to have the original adapters. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Up close, I'll show the box real quick. It's basically the same all around except on this side. You can see it just shows it that it says life-size animated Reaper, head drops and lights up, 5.5. I would say it's 5.5 feet tall. You can see right here it's the same. Right here it's the same, and it's got the Lowe's item number if anybody wants that. And then it says LED on this side. LED technology. When they were first coming out with the LED pieces, they would always have that symbol on there, which is just awesome. Because they weren't using a lot of, you know, I mean, they were using LEDs back in the day, but like not to the extent that they started doing around those times. Like, you know, you had the light show Ghost Reaper that had, you know, like 20 LEDs in him. Like they were doing things like that. So they would always display on the box like that this uses LED technology. On the back, you can see it says life-size animated Reaper, then it has it in different languages, life-size, head drops and lights up, mouth moves and speak very spooky phrases. It includes candy trays, sound and motion activated, disassembled for easy storage. And it has the instructions and everything like that. And then it says, or there's no Gemmy logo, but it does say Gemmy Industries 2012, and then that's the barcode for it. I thought that was a Gemmy logo. It's not, it's the telephone. And then in the box, I don't think there's like any... He didn't keep the box inserts, which is okay, I don't really care. One thing I didn't have, though, was the poles that go into the base, which that was kind of annoying. I wish it did. But I'm not using it outdoors, so it doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it, so I will go ahead and activate them for you guys. Alright, guys, so I got him plugged in now. Like I said, he's got 3 or 4 phrases. Some people would say that they are very overused phrases, but I like them. You know, the phrases are very nostalgic, I think. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, they could use this on any item I want, and I'll still buy it. I love the animation on this thing. I love the phrases. I love the look of it. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and activate it for you guys. One more thing I forgot to mention. This guy takes a 9-volt, which was very surprising to me. But then again, every single item that I can think of that has the same mechanism that he does Also takes a 9 volts, so I don't know. But I just, kind of saw him as like a 6-volt character, but I guess not. But here he is.
We have been waiting for you.
So you can see the light in the head fades in and out. Really cool effect. I think that it's supposed to... You're not really supposed to see the face before it goes down. Or, sorry, before it lights up. And, like I said, there's an extra layer of creepy cloth that you can kind of have draped over instead of it on the back. But I like it much better like this because that's how it was displayed in stores. That's how it is on the box. I like it displayed how it's supposed to be displayed.
Yes, come closer. Come right up this way. At last, I've waited so long for this moment.
He'll probably just keep setting himself off.
I'd turn back if I were you. We have been waiting for you. Yes, come closer. Come right up this way. At last, I've waited so long for this moment. I'd turn back if I were you.
So I think those were all the phrases. I mean, I ran through them at least 2 different times now. So really cool phrases. I mean, again, people will say they're overused. I personally like them. I, have owned a lot of items that have those phrases, and I love them. I think they're awesome. But yeah, I will kind of show the animation up close. I think probably after I say that's about it. See you guys. Whatever. But yeah, just overall great character. I love it. I'm very stoked to finally have one. Just very awesome piece. I very much do recommend it if you can find one. He has become pretty hard to find. I know that the witch is a lot more commonly found because she was at least sold at a few garden centers. I'm sure online in a few places. I know that she was also sold at Menards at one point, and she was sold in Canada, but she didn't have phrases. There was just music playing, and then she would laugh. Likely because they didn't really have the phrases in Spanish. So they decided to just, make it laughing so you could use it for English speakers and Spanish speakers in Canada because it's, you kind of get a mix of that. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Really hope you guys enjoyed. I love this item. I recommend it. Definitely pick one up if you can find it. And yeah, I will see you guys again next time.
Yes.